Which choice best states the main idea of the text? Elizabeth Asedu has identified a negative correlation between the share of developing countries' economies derived from natural resource extraction and those countries' receipts of foreign investment. This may appear counterintuitive. Resource extraction requires initial investment in extractive technology, for instance, at scales best met by multinational corporations. But Isidu notes that natural resource industries' boom-bust cycle can destabilize local currencies and increase developing countries' vulnerability to external shocks, creating levels of uncertainty to which foreign investors are typically averse. So this main idea of the text is this counterintuitive idea where countries with high natural resources typically have lower foreign investment. This is because these countries typically have boom-bust economic current cycles that can destabilize local currencies and cause external shocks. And these conditions are typically what causes foreign investors to stay away. So let's see what the answer choices have to say. So option choice A says, although it may seem surprising that foreign investment declines in developing countries as natural resource extraction makes up a larger share of those countries' economies, that decline happens because resource extraction requires initial investments too large for foreign investors to supply. So although this first part of the sentence is correct, where it highlights the counterintuitive idea where developing countries with high natural resource extraction have lower foreign investment, the reasoning behind why this occurs is incorrect, because this answer choice highlights that it's because the initial investments are too large for foreign investors to supply, whereas the text highlights that this is because the results of the economies in these countries lead to conditions that the foreign investors are typically averse to, and these conditions are typically the boom-bust cycles and external shocks. So A is incorrect because the reasoning here is not what the text says. Therefore, A is wrong. B. Although developing countries tend to become less dependent on foreign investment as natural resource industries make up a larger share of their economies, this change may not occur if the boom-bust cycle of those industries destabilize local currencies or increase countries' vulnerability to external shocks. So the second part of this answer choice is correct, where it highlights the results of on the economies of these developing countries, where there's boom-bust cycles, and it destabilizes local currencies and increases their vulnerability to external shocks. The first part is incorrect, where it highlights how developing countries tend to become less dependent on foreign investment as natural resource industries make up a larger share of their economies, which is not mentioned in the text, because nothing in the text suggests that these countries become less dependent on foreign investment. So B is incorrect. C. Although one might expect that foreign investment would increase as natural resource extraction makes up a larger share of developing countries' economies, the opposite happens because heavy reliance on natural resources can lead to unattractive conditions for investors. So this seems to be the correct answer because both parts of the answer choice are correct, where it highlights the counterintuitive idea that foreign investment decreases with countries that have higher natural resource extraction, and it highlights that the results or the cause of this, which is because the heavy reliance on natural resources can lead to unattractive conditions for investors, and these unattractive conditions are typically the boom-bust cycles that destabilize local currencies and the vulnerability to external shocks. So C seems to be the correct answer. D. Although foreign investors tend to avoid initial investments in natural resource industries in developing countries, foreign investment may increase significantly as those industries stabilize and the risks associated with them decline. So this is incorrect because although the first part is correct, where it highlights how foreign investors avoid initial investment in natural resource industries, the text doesn't suggest what happens in the long run when foreign investment may potentially increase as those industries stabilize. So, because this isn't mentioned in the text, D is incorrect. And therefore, the correct answer is C.